Welcome back to the channel. So on our last video we've learned how to make a super easy lemon tart. Remember, we've learned how to make a sweet short crust, a pâte sucrée, blind bake it and create a tart shell. That is a key technique in French baking. Making a tart shell, you can use it like this when it's pre-cooked and add all kinds of filling, warm or cold. This week, we're gonna do the same thing. I've used the other half of my short crust. I've created another tart shell. It's ready, it's been blind baked, so if you haven't seen the video, refer to it for the technique. And we're gonna be now making something even easier than the last time, which is called a galette. It's part of the Petit four. It means that it is a tart that is then filled with a very thin layer of filling. I will going to show you the ingredients in a bit. And it's caramelized in the oven. Then you chop the whole thing in pieces and you serve it alongside coffee, tea, in the middle of the afternoon with your friends or anything like this. There's nothing more straightforward than that. I hope you're gonna like it. Let's go. So we're now ready to make our galette. Remember, it's part of the Petit four. Petit four, if you want something to memorize, very simple. It is a bite-sized kind of sweet. It is a bite-sized sweet you can serve with tea, coffee, even when you want as a dessert, on its own or with multiple other type of Petit four. What you need here is all in front of you. Most important, you have to make the tart shell before. It doesn't have to be round, it can be rectangular, it can be small, it can be large, it's up to you. We're gonna cut it in pieces afterwards. It does not matter. The ingredients for the filling are very interesting today. We've got candied fruits, fruits confits. So this is a mix of glacé cherries with candied orange and lemon. You can take other fruits or you can buy them in packets. Slivered almonds. We've got apricot jam, honey, butter, sugar, cream. And here the famous eau de vie, the Kirsch Wasser, which is the Kirsch with the cherry liqueur. German origin. In my view, absolutely horrible to drink. I've tried, but brilliant when it comes to baking, to flavor things. So like pastry cream, for instance, if you want to flavor it. You can almost put it in some cake, as in a syrup for a sponge cake. And here we're going to use again to flavor that filling. Everything is going to be happening in one pan. There's not much cookware away from one pan. That we're going to be on the stove, and we're going to have to preheat our oven right now at 210 degrees Celsius with the fan force off. So this is conventional heat. I'm not using fan force. Remember last time I've talked about this. I just don't like with baking fan force. It messes things up, so we're gonna stick to the good old conventional heat. All right, we got everything here. Let's get started. Now that recipe is more or less comprised of 3 steps. The first one is to glaze the bottom of the tart shell with our apricot jam. So I've added 1 teaspoon of water in there. I'm gonna put this in the microwave to liquefy, and then we're gonna brush the bottom. The process took mere seconds. As you can see, it's all liquefied. So I've got my apricot jelly. I'm dipping it into, with a pastry brush, and very gently. You don't need to put too much. It's just a glazing. So you can do the size as well. I think we're gonna kind of a bit of more waterproofing of that tart shell. When you finish, this is how it looks like. You see, there's not a ton of it. There's a very thin layer, and we're gonna leave it to sit here while we're making the filling, and that is the next step. For the filling, it is extremely simple. You take a pan and we're gonna add all the ingredients on here. So I've got some butter, I've got some sugar in here, we've got the almonds, we've got the fruits, we've got on here, we've got some honey, honey in there, and we're gonna finish with some cream. Just 2 tablespoons. And all what we're gonna do here, we're gonna put a low heat, or low to medium max, and we're gonna leave this to melt. So as it heats up, everything's gonna start to melt. And remember, we're not cooking anything, we're just waiting for all the butter to be melted with the sugar, the honey, etc., etc. That's it. As soon as the mixture is melted here, I'm going to turn my heat off and we're going to add the Kirsch. Measurement, typically you can do 1 tablespoon, a bit less of Kirsch. No need to overdo it. And I put this at the end, like it's not evaporating, it's 40% in alcohol. It's going to flavor the whole lot. And that's it. Now we're going to pour this into the tart shell. Finally, for the last step, we're going to take all the mixture that we have and we're going to pour that in. Let's start with this. Actually, it's way more filling than I thought it was going to be. I think the recipe will call for 22 centimeters. It's a 20 centimeter kind of dish, so I'm going to be easy. See, I'm going to just put a little bit of that. And that's it. In the oven, and we're going to wait for this to start to bubble up. And that's going to be it. So it's not really cooking for long. It may take about 10 minutes or something like this. We're just going to keep an eye on the filling. And I will tell you exactly how long time it took me. So here we are after like about 13 minutes. You can kind of ballpark 15 minutes in the oven. I think I may have added a little too much of the filling because it was meant for the, the 22 centimeter. But the whole gist here is to think of it of something that is not a tart, it is not a cake, okay? So it's not supposed to rise or do anything. It is supposed to be like this. We're creating a filling with all the sugar and the almond, the honey. It is actually very, very good. It needs to bubble up first in the oven to reduce, and now it needs to set. So you have to wait until it's totally cold or at room temperature, and before you can remove it from the mold and then slice it. And I think what we're going to end up with is that these pieces of sweet short crust with that kind of layer of semi-gooey, almondy kind of delicious stuff. We're going to let it cool and see really how it tastes like. I'm quite curious. Right, so our almond and honey galette is what it's called. I've cooled down. I've removed it from the mold, as you can see, and I started to cut a slice as you would do for a tart. As I said, typically you can do squares or whatever size we want, but let's try a little bit here. So typically, it's not going to be about the crust really. Typically, these little triangles like that are going to be the type of petit four. So you have a collection of those, and they're almost like these healthy slices you get from the shops now, with trail mix in there and all kinds of like protein bars. You know what I mean? This kind of stuff. But this is like the real old-fashioned one. So let me. Okay. Actually, the more you eat it, the better it gets. You see, it's quite thin, huh? And this is the soul of the galette, something really, really thin. And imagine this with tea or something or coffee. It's brilliant. Now, I have to say that I'm perplexed with all that thing, because at first I was kind of, maybe it doesn't work. But now the more I'm eating the crust with the filling in here, that's nice and gooey, with the mixture of ingredients, it actually really, really grows on me. So maybe I'm just not used to have these old-fashioned kind of nibbles there. But anyway, I will leave this to you. You can make up your own mind. You can try the recipe as it is, as I made it, or you can try to tweak it and have a bit less filling and caramelize a little bit and see how you go. But you will see that this kind of dessert from the old days, it's very, very interesting. Not something that we're used to. And very important, it is not a tart. Remember, you have to cut it in very small pieces, quite indulgent, with coffee, with tea. Do try it with some friends. Invite them over and ask them, what do you think about that cake? So, but at least we can have the answers. Of course, comment section, let me know about your adventure. When you're making this, how did people react? How did you like it? Because I'm always very curious. But that's for me. I will see you next time, as always, on another video on the French Cooking Academy. Take care all. Bye-bye.
My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry.